What's up, Jada?
Hi, Trey.
Welcome back. You fixing your bling bling, your chain on your neck.
Yeah, this is Miriam's.
Ice me out.
Yeah.
You iced out?
No.
Not yet.
No.
It's coming.
It's just a pop of color because we're wearing all black.
Yeah, you trying to be like me? Okay, I'm not gonna choose the war right here because we just went back and forth. It was a friendly
like that?
It was a friendly back and forth.
It was a healthy back and forth. That's what it was.
We are gonna move on.
Yes, we are.
Welcome to episode 7.
Episode 7 of T&J's Child's Play.
Yes. Welcome back. Wherever you guys are tuning in, we thank you guys for tuning in. If you need to pause and stop and reflect, do that. We're reflecting all this season. Unfortunately, we can't pause, but you guys can. So,
yeah.
What are we getting into today?
We're getting into punch words. Modern relationships and the terminology that's being kind of just passed along, and people are just making like a lot of content off of these couple of these terms. So, just want to get into them.
What's some words? What's some terms that they making content off of?
The words that I'm tired of: narcissism, gaslighting, all that.
Yeah,
I'm tired of hearing about it.
Yeah. Before we press record, I said, I don't even know if I've used those terms. He said, you don't use those terms at all. Narcissism, gaslighting, no. Ghosting.
Oh, and ghosting. Yeah, that's something that he uses and has experience with.
Let a shot or like
no.
What's that? Okay, just make sure. We're Ward's line over here. Not with you. I cannot.
Well, yeah, we're just gonna get into some of those words. Give exact meanings of them. Show, I guess, some examples of how they should be properly used and how they haven't been.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Which one are we starting off with?
We can start with gaslighting.
Gaslighting.
I think we have experience with gaslighting and didn't know what it was until 2019 when everybody just started saying it. For Google, gaslighting is an insidious form of manipulation and psychological control. Victims of gaslighting are deliberately and systematically fed false information that leads them to question what they know to be true, often about themselves. They may end up doubting their memory, their perception, and maybe even their sanity.
Oh yeah, definitely gaslit before.
Yeah.
I mean, propane, throw a lighter with it.
Now this one is fine. This one is fine. I feel like males have an issue with the word though, because I feel like
issue with the word, or they are more prone to use it versus women.
Yeah, they're prone to use it, and when people say that they are doing it, then they have an issue with it.
Got you.
Because like, I'm not gonna sit here and say all men are manipulators, but a lot of women say that they have been manipulated in certain relationships with men.
Yeah.
Then like have it put back in their face. That's basically what gaslighting is. Like, okay, I cheated, but I cheated because you didn't do this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
It could be some truth to that conversation, but why are you bringing it up the way you are bringing it?
Right.
It's because you got caught in the act and you were doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And now you're trying to debunk what she's trying to say. It's true.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see how someone can get defensive over that. I mean, the definition alone what you just said was a lot to unpack in general. So I definitely could see someone having an issue or problem with saying that, hey, you're gaslighting me right now. What?
Yeah. Yeah, just saying that. It probably, you see, he brought it like, oh,
what?
Like a sense of anger probably comes out from men when people say that to them. Yeah, I mean women too, but yeah, those are just some of the instances that I've seen. But let's get into manipulation and what that actually is when it comes to relationships and kind of putting that back into someone's face. We said that it'll probably make someone feel bad when they're on the receiving end of it, but what do you think the process of that happens for the person that's coming to terms with a person that's gaslighting them? Like, how do you think they even get to the point of, wait a minute, this person is making me feel bad for bringing things up that they have done to me? Like, what do you think about that?
Rerun that.
I know
person's making me feel bad. Please say that again.
The person is coming to the realization that they're being manipulated. Right. So like, what do you think happens with that thought process? How do you think that they come to terms
to that
with
conclusion?
That?
Probably after experiencing those things multiple times, and then just feeling off about it, like something is not right here, or something I just don't feel right, or maybe this has happened way too many times to know, and then they realize that they are being is it gaslit?
Yeah, gaslit.
I think that would be the way that they would come to terms with that and realize that that's happening to them.
I think it's a lot of parts that go into that. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
I can bring it up again, the feminine and masculine dynamic of things. I think a woman's intuition is very, very, very on point when it comes to their intimate relationships with the other sex.
Yeah.
And it definitely comes off as a thing of confidence. I definitely feel like when someone is gaslighting you, it can mess with that. It can mess with your confidence.
Absolutely.
It can mess with your sense of awareness because
Absolutely.
you think that you know something, but this person is basically like kind of lying and saying that no,
it's something different.
Right.
Than what it
this is the
actually
perspective.
Yeah.
And the perspective is a false perspective, but you with the open mind, you're thinking that he's actually kind of looking out for you. No, he's not. He's looking out for himself, and he's trying to take that opportunity to make sure that he can continue to treat you that way without any repercussions.
Yeah, and I think I talked about this on a previous episode. That definitely has happened to me last summer, for sure. It was just one experience of feeling one way, like an interaction with a person, and then it being something completely different when I'm home. And I'm like, what the fuck? Were we not in the same room? Like, were we not like experiencing the same thing? So please tell me how it's different now that I'm back home. That does not make sense to me. Right. So absolutely. And like I said, I did not know these terms and terminology, but I'm like, I definitely have been.
Yeah.
The discovery.
Yeah, it's a discovery.
Richard and Oprah.
Back to personal things. Do you have any scenarios where you think that you were gaslit, or maybe you accidentally gaslit somebody? I don't think you've gaslit anyone. I think you're a very straightforward person when it comes to that type of stuff.
I don't think I've gaslit anyone.
I don't think that you're a gaslighter. It's such an interesting word.
Yeah, a gaslighter. Like, I don't think I've gaslit anyone.
But
maybe I have. You know.
Yeah,
like,
you don't
I just
know.
don't know that term. I just know from like experience of like being on the other end of it. Like, that definitely was what I felt at that time.
Yeah.
But it sounds like I hope I didn't. Please let me know. Send me a DM.
No, you know they will.
You've gaslight. You have done this. You have done this to me.
Your peoples be tapped in. They'll let you know.
No, seriously. And I appreciate that. Thank you. But I don't think I've have a personal experience of where I have gaslit someone.
Yeah, but has it been done to you?
Oh yeah, I just talked about it for that past summer. It definitely was. I experienced one thing with a person, and then getting home and it's like something completely different. Like, we didn't have those feelings and emotions at that same time, and you were on a completely different page. Yeah,
that's deep.
It is, and it's happened. But I learned so much from it, and I learned so much about myself, and I'm like, being gaslit is not something that I would like to have in my inventory. That is something completely out there that I'm not interested in, nor do I want to make anyone else feel that way, because it does not feel good. Yeah. So yeah.
We can also talk about the dangers of falsely accusing somebody of doing that, because you think that you're being gaslit when you're probably the gaslighter. People don't talk about that.
Yeah.
Like, when somebody is bringing something up, especially when you guys are at odds, and someone's bringing something up, maybe it's not just because you're bringing your stuff up. Maybe they needed the opportunity to bring it to you in a different manner.
But I think too, once you have experienced something and we have a conversation about it, and then it's done the same thing like again, I think you're aware of it. I think you know that, even though you might be like me and didn't know the terminology and exactly what it was. Right. But you're aware of it. You know what it is that you're doing. Right. But I do think there could be some people out there who just have no idea either. Just don't know the term. Yeah. Like I.
Yeah. It's just super manipulation in more of an argumentative style. I feel like that's probably when it comes up the most.
Yeah. What about you? Do you think you had an experience of where you have been gaslit or gaslighted other people?
Yeah, from friends and family. Well, not more friends, but more family members for sure.
Yeah.
3 sisters.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Any particular situation?
I can't really put a finger on a particular situation, but there's definitely a time where I'm trying to have clear communication of this hurt my feelings, or this happened, this, that, and the third, and then they bring up like 30 different things that had nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
Now
that's a sense of
that's gaslighting.
I mean, it can be. It depends on the manner of it. because they're bringing up things of a separate nature of, oh, this, that, but we're talking about this, and I'm talking about my feelings at this separate moment, and they're trying to relate back to something that has nothing to do with the current situation.
Well, maybe I have gaslit. Because like it's like
that's how I take gaslighting.
I mean, and maybe
I feel like a lot with these words too, there's a clear definition for it,
right?
But also like it can kind of go off realm.
Yeah. No, I definitely feel like I have probably have done that. Like, you know, if we're
therapists tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm using it the wrong way, but I feel like that's how that type of stuff starts.
Yeah.
But let me know.
Yeah.
Therapists,
and
if you're watching.
And I feel like if I don't, like we talked about in that previous episode, if there's not that time of where I'm just sitting by myself and not like, you know, kind of unpacking things there, and we jump right into a conversation of where you're trying to, you know, blame me and like point the finger, and you know, I'm trying to like on defense now, like trying to defend myself. So that's why you gotta, again, in how you talk to people and approach them, you have to understand the individual themselves before you go in and just have a conversation. But I can get defensive, and I can point out 30 things that you have done as well that's also maybe similar or some type of correlation to whatever it is that you're talking about, probably that I have done. And so I think too,
I definitely think that's a sister gaslighting for sure. Therapists let me know, but I think that's what it is.
I have done that
part of it.
Then so take back what I said in the beginning. I definitely have done that, but I think it's also out of like a sense of like defending myself, of like,
I feel like everybody has done that before.
Yeah. It's like, what? Like, are you trying to point me out? But can we talk about all the things that you have done as well? So okay, cool. I'll take accountability for those things, but let me bring up some of the things that you have done or experienced or whatever. And I try not to do that, but I feel like it sometimes when I'm not checking it, it does get like that. It talked about kind of like that balloon that we talked about, of like, it's just one thing and now I'm filled all up with a balloon.
And then like, and then we go from there.
You call me out on something. It's like, okay, well, let's really get into it. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. And you've done all this, that, and the third. And what I haven't done, and then this is the deeper part, and what I haven't done isn't that bad. And it was pretty much to kind of defend you in general. And then that's why I did it. Okay. Once you get into that,
I don't go that far with it.
That's super gaslighting. That's exploding the house. I've heard people go through situations like that.
No, I have not done
like it was for your benefit. Someone saying that they messed up for your benefit is ultimate crazy.
No, that's why
you need to be in a psych house.
If there was a gaslighting spectrum, I'd definitely probably be on the lower end versus all the way up there, cranking up all the gas, grilling all the food. I would not be on that.
I feel like that scenario that I brought up and the scenario that you're talking about that you can relate to, I feel like that's kind of on the teetering side of it. That's why I wanted to debunk these terms. Because like you can't just say that everything is one mini argument, he gaslit me. No, that's not how it works. You have to figure out what the situation is, the manipulation tactic that was used. Like you have to like sit with that. You can't just sit there and be like, oh, I know what it is, this, that, and the third. No. You have to like see the whole thing. How did the damn argument start? Like it's just different factors that go into the words and using the words.
And I feel like I do that for like conversation stuff. I don't probably go as in depth as you are, you Miss Historian Richmond Oprah over here. I don't go that far, but I do feel like I analyze the conversation and situation of how we got here to this conclusion, and how that made me feel, you know. But I don't think I've ever put in like terminology on it, and I definitely feel like this was one that you have brought up for this podcast episode, because there's no way that I'm talking about terms sitting on this couch for T&J. So it definitely came from you.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, that's just kind of why I get from it. Just listening to different people's stories and watching people use the word. That's the first word. You want to go to the second word? We're going to go to the second word. Second word is narcissism. Let's just start with the definition. Narcissism. Personality qualities include thinking very highly of oneself, needing admiration, believing others are inferior, and lacking empathy for others. Those are some of the characteristics of a narcissist person.
Wow. That's wild.
It's a disorder.
Is it really?
Yes.
Wow.
It's a disorder. Yeah. Let's look.
I didn't know that. Can you
be not diagnosed?
Right. That's what I want to know. Like, do you sit down and like, you're a narcissist? What the fuck? Like, is that a thing?
I believe so. Well, let's make sure.
Can you imagine sitting down on somebody's couch and they're just like, you're a narcissist?
Yes. Narcissistic personality disorder. It is definitely a thing.
So people are like diagnosed.
Yeah. I think Kanye West has been diagnosed. I believe so by his therapist. I know he's bipolar, but let's get off of celebrities. But yeah, it's a disorder of being a narcissist.
Wow. And so how does one like come to that conclusion? Like we have
therapists, psychologists.
Yeah.
And you probably take a spectrum test or a personality test and a specific one. And they'll probably be like, oh yeah, you're a narcissist.
I've talked to many therapists. I've talked to about 3 or 4 therapists. And I cannot imagine any of them coming back and saying, yes, you are a narcissist.
What would you do?
I don't know what I would do. I'm like, okay, well, how do I not become one? Or how do I go get away from being a narcissist? How do you get away from being How do I work at that?
That's an interesting topic. Like, if someone tells you that, like, you go to therapy or a psychologist and they say that, like, how would somebody feel?
Yeah. And when people introduce themselves, like, yeah, my therapist told me I was a narcissist. Like, that's not a regular conversation. Like, that's not something you just bring up at the table.
No, that's something that you would not want to bring up. Everybody's going to move away from you.
Oh my God. Okay.
This is a funny episode.
Read the definition again, please.
Yeah. All right. So when it comes to narcissism, it just gives qualities of what the person is.
Okay.
Let's go back. Personality qualities include thinking very highly of oneself, needing admiration, believing others are inferior, and lacking empathy for others.
Okay, definitely not me. I definitely have all the empathy. I just wanted to make sure like we read it again and I just wasn't in that narcissism category. And because clearly I said I don't think I've done any of these things, and then as we were reading the definitions and breaking these down, I'm like, okay, well, maybe I have gaslit. Are we in the narcissist? It's just like being on WebMD. You something hurt, your foot hurt, and you on WebMD, and you like, I got the gout.
It says medical care. See a doctor if you struggle with work or personal relationships, feel overwhelmed with sadness. So a doctor probably could say that you have it too.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wait, it says overwhelmed with work and what? This shit is not funny because I'm just really like sitting here like, Because, okay, let's talk about this. I think that there is a thing such as like being confident like in yourself and then like feeling like you are everything above everyone. Because I feel like I'm very like confident.
We're going to get to the nitty gritty of that. It's the reason why I brought up a person like Kanye West, right? Mm-hmm. I heard someone say something about Drake a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Basically saying that his success is his demise. Saying that he's become so successful that it's diminishing a lot of things for him. I don't fucking agree with that, but that's how people are seeing what happened with him in previous years. You talk about someone like Kanye West, like to become a Kanye West, you have to think that you are the second person to God. You have to think that to become as successful as he was, to have the damn shoes, be so close to the impact of a Jordan. And to have music and influence in the world the way you do, you have to fucking think that you are the cream of the crop. No one can touch me. But I think that the downside of that is just so bad. And it's sad to see because it's like at one point you need to have that type of confidence, even for you to have a business, to try to maintain businesses and maintain other people's businesses. You have to be like, yes, I can conquer all of these things.
And I'm like, if we're talking about comparing Kanye to like narcissist type of like,
but think about it. Think about the downfall of that. Think about his personal relationships, his marriage that failed, all the things that he's saying that he think he can get away with saying,
this is so
and
bad.
the and the money that he has lost because of the things that he has said, because he believes that everything that he says is not going to be a downfall because I am Kanye West. I can do anything that I want to do and it's not going to have any effect on my life.
Yeah.
But it has. Yeah. It has had effect on his life. He has lost money. He probably doesn't have some of the relationships that he really wants and yearns for right now because of the things that he said and the things that he has done, because he thinks that he can do anything and get away with it.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate narcissism.
Right. Yeah, and I think there does have to be
ultimate example of it.
A certain level of just like confidence and, you know, and how you move and operate. I've told you I've seen so many things, and I truly believe that like even like pursuing like your dreams and taking things on, you really have to be like delusional in what it is that you're trying to do and pursue and chase and like really believe in your dream, because if you don't believe in it, then nobody else is going to do that. And unfortunately, in the world that we live in, people have to see it first in order for them to get on board with it as well. Even though you know the vision, you feel it, you know where you're headed, but people have to see you making progress and getting to where you want to be before they can actually stand up and clap for you. So to a certain extent, I do think I have some I have some of those qualities.
It's nothing wrong with
as far as
being aware of that.
I work really hard. I am, always putting my work first. Even after we finished filming yesterday, I'm like on my computer working on my client social media posts and what's next for me. And then you were like, hey, what's that logo right there? I have an event in a couple of weeks. You know what I mean? So like nonstop doing it. But I feel like that's what you need to get to the level that you want to be at.
You need that level of confidence, but also it's just like everything in this world, it's balance. Yeah. So when it comes to the balance, it's like, it's not because people have a negative connotation with the word humble now. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, if you're a hater if you can't be around people and you keep on saying that they need to be humble and this, that, and the third. Yeah. But there's a sense of self-humbleness that people don't talk about. Yeah. And knowing that, okay, I still need to be grounded and I still need to be considerate of others. Yeah. I feel like once you become someone like a Kanye West, you feel like you don't have to be considerate of anything because what I know and I do touches gold, and it's end all be all. Anything that I want to do and I want to say is going to be good. Yeah. But you have to have that amount of consideration for others, which is why I don't think that you will ever go in the path of that. We're laughing right now because he thinks highly of himself and he works hard. I mean, it's more to being a narcissist than what you are acquiring. So just having that compassion and consideration for others, I don't think that anybody with a lot of confidence will go towards that path. You know?
And as we're talking about these things and like finding out characteristics and things like that, I'm thinking, okay, what are some of the ways that you probably could like mitigate or stop if it from getting to that level? And I think the first thing that came to mind was like faith and like being in your Bible and your relationship with God. Like you're always in the mindset of like, hey, I'm put here to serve, and then I'm here to help and assist other people.
People that would say Kanye West is Christian, great, I know that, but guess what? He still has bipolar disorder too. So one minute he is in the church, doesn't want to do stuff, and then the next minute he's walking around with a naked white woman.
We can kiss.
So I'm just saying a lot of people are going to try to debunk the example that I had. Yeah. So there's a lot with Kanye West, but I just want to touch on the narcissism part. You can go back to your thoughts.
Well, we can kiss Yeezys and Adidas goodbye.
I wore them last episode. I love him, but we got to call a spade a spade.
Not getting no sponsorship from it.
Do we got to call a spade a spade? We got to call a spade a spade.
You do have to call a spade a spade.
I had Yeezys on the last episode.
You did have Yeezys on the last episode.
Woo.
Damn. Never a dull moment sitting with Jada.
I'm just saying. That was just a perfect example.
Yeah, no.
Someone who thinks that they're God.
Yeah, and I'm gonna now do more research and just still keep my routine intact because I definitely work hard. I do think that I'm the shit sometimes, and I think you have to think that of yourself.
Yeah, you need confidence
in order to succeed, because people will take you in this world and rip you up and spit you out. Yeah. So, man.
So I kind of spearheaded both of the first two. Let's get to ghosting. I want you to kind of spearhead that. What you think ghosting is? We can see if there's an actual definition.
Yeah, pull up the term for me. I can tell you about my experience, but let's get the historian over here. I want you to pull.
Ghosting is when someone abruptly ends communication with another person.
Wait, you're laughing in it. You have to say it clearly so people can hear it.
Sorry. Ghosting is when someone abruptly ends communication with another person without explanation. It can happen sometimes in many social...
You're laughing. You're not even saying it clearly, Jada. How are you going to tell?
All right, okay.
You get yourself together. Because how are you going to...
You're laughing a little bit and it makes me laugh.
But I'm not laughing like you're laughing. I'm just like a little chuckle.
I know, but it's a chuckle.
But you can't even hear mine.
Okay.
Okay. Whatever's in your head, because you're not even hearing me laugh. You're just thinking of something.
I did hear you laugh. I heard a and it made me laugh.
You did not hear a
I did.
No, you did not.
Okay, you can say what I heard, but I know what I heard. Okay, ghosting is when someone abruptly ends communication with another person without explanation. It can happen in many social circumstances, including romantic relationships, friendships, and the workplace. Yeah. For example, someone might ghost by no longer responding to phone calls, texts, and instant messages. Mm-hmm. That is the definition.
Yeah, ghosting is quite the thing. I'm not ashamed to say that I have ghosted. What the hell is so funny?
It's just funny. Keep on going. I'm sorry.
This is crazy. I have...
Okay. Just keep on going while I'm doing it.
And how am I going to keep going and talking as you're laughing?
Stop now. All right.
How is that possible?
Okay. This is definitely going to be funny for Instagram.
Me ghosting. How is that possible?
That was funny. But
all clear. Okay. Ghosting is definitely something that I have partaken in and done to my friends, and I'm done with you. I'm so done.
Every time I see you,
because it is okay.
We're real friends doing this, so it's just funny. Okay,
yeah.
We're real friends doing this.
I definitely have done that to my friends, and it's like an avoidant piece for me, or was for me, younger me, of just dealing with your emotions and feelings or how you feel about the situation, or not even having the energy to address it. And I think that's a real thing too. Mm-hmm. If we want to just talk about that, do you have the energy to address whatever it is that's on your mind or on your heart to talk about in your relationships, intimate or friendships? And that is something that I did. I would just hey, I'm out. We ain't talking about this. I ain't got the time. I don't have the energy to talk about it. And that's a really selfish thing to do. And I think we talked about in the previous episode of how that is not fair. And just understanding where you're at as an individual, that you can, understanding as an individual that there are times of where you just don't want to communicate or, talk to that other person, but that's not fair to them. So that is how I rolled back, and now I am not the person doing the ghosting. I'm getting ghosted more times than it's happening, or that I'm doing it to other people. I don't like to do it. I've seen how that has made you all feel in terms of my friends, and they have given me so much crap about that. You can't just ghost
females.
Oh my god. And we talked about that last episode too, that most of my friends are females.
Yeah. I just want to get more context.
Go ahead.
What you were saying.
Yeah, no, well, go ahead. You can't ghost females. Why can't you ghost females? Miss, you can't ghost us.
You can't ghost us.
Why?
Because we're gonna continue to bother you until you tell us what's wrong.
Oh, amen to that. If there was an amen button and a church clap, it would definitely be playing right now. In fact, we might have to just add that in there.
Yeah, let's insert it here.
You definitely can't. They will bug you.
That's gonna make a great clip.
They will bug you.
Yeah.
Why? Why is that?
What do you mean? Why is that? Because I know that something's wrong. I'm gonna bug you. That's why. Okay. When you cut off all communication with someone, especially if we had a debate or an argument or something, then I know that something's wrong. I'm gonna let you get your 2 days, but after 2 days, I'm gonna bug you. Hey, what's going on?
What if it's longer than 2 days?
Yeah, and it has been.
It has.
Yeah,
it's been weeks.
I mean, I don't know what we did back then for real to get back to communicating and things of that nature, but eventually, figure a way.
That was another thing too. Of okay, that's why I had to stop it. I was tired of the conversations after. I got to sit down and have a conversation about why first of all, you have to have two conversations. One conversation about the original topic or disagreement or whatever that was about. And then another conversation with them about why it took so long for me to respond.
Yeah.
I can't just take my time, huh? Now, where I'm wrong at is not explaining that or communicating and saying, hey, I just need a day. Like, love you, care for you. I need a day to unpack and dive into whatever so we can have a conversation and talk about it. That is the adult thing. That's what the 25-year-old Trey does now. And we have a conversation about it. Actually, I think I've even gotten a little bit better. Even if I'm annoyed in the situation, I still communicate that. Now, I may take an hour or two or whatever to unpack whatever and then have a conversation, but it may not be a day. But I don't think it's considered ghosting if you're telling and communicating with someone and saying, hey, I need this space and time. But that, in earlier years, I was not doing that. Yeah.
I love that. I love the reflection. And we didn't even have to, like, introduce the reflection piece. It just naturally came up. I love it. Yeah. Love talking about then versus now. And you know that it's a no-no to ghost.
Gotten so much crap from them. So much crap.
It's a no-no to ghost. I like that. It's a no-no to ghost.
Have you ever ghosted someone?
Probably. I don't know. Probably. I mean, I can't put my finger on it. I feel like the ghoster, it's hard to bring it up. But, like, I don't know.
But do you think it's been, like, a reoccurring thing or just, like, certain people or individuals? Or like...
Probably more in intimate relationships than actual friends.
Let's unpack that. The Norfolk Dr. Phil is here to talk to you about that.
Oh, this is going to be short and sweet. What you want to know?
Just how it comes about. Like, what do you feel as though, like, that is the reason of why you need to ghost and just let that go? Or and why is it intimate relationships?
Well, a lot of my intimate relationships haven't gone that much deep when it comes to the communication aspect and piece anyway. But once, just like it is, once you do something to piss me off, even if we're having something casual go on, goodbye.
Once you do something,
and then you asked me a couple of questions.
Sorry, I was laughing during that.
Oh, okay.
You know how you were laughing when I was trying to express. I was laughing. I'm sorry, that was rude of me to do that.
Go ahead, laugh them goodbye. Get them to the boot.
What did you?
You
say?
love doing that.
What did you say in the beginning? You said once they piss you off, but you said the off and on. Did you say off and on? What did you say?
Casual relationships, like more once it's like more casual than getting right deeper into it being intimate. Okay, it's very easy for me to cut that off because we don't have any connection or tie together. So I don't feel like I've had that much of a really good, connection with someone on an intimate level to even consider not.
Are you like me? Do you have a wall up?
Yeah, we already talked about that. Well, not in our new journey. Yeah, the wall is still up, guys. If you're still wondering, the wall is still up. Yeah. And it's not good, and it's very unhealthy. We can make that a conversation because, you want an episode where you're kind of getting into me. We could definitely talk about that in one of the episodes. But, yeah, the wall is definitely still up for that. So when it comes to me and ghosting, I don't even know if I can really categorize it as ghosting because I don't even know them people. I just cut them off.
I think that's still ghosting.
Okay, well then, it's ghosting.
That's still ghosting. And this is not me trying to get in the ghost vehicle with me, Jada. Let's drive.
Hey,
off.
We can drive off in that one
in the same outfits as we got on both black. We're talking about ghosting and narcissist, and I just don't know how that happened. And we're sitting down talking about narcissism, gaslighting. This is so bad. Somebody's supposed to be wearing white, good and bad,
white and black.
You probably should have wore white.
I don't have any white. Dug into. You got white.
Okay. Anyways. Yeah, no, I definitely something.
Ghosting.
It's a conversation and thing to talk about. Yeah, you probably have a wall up like me.
But it's more of a
But my wall is debatable.
Yeah. Yeah. Back to ghosting and friendships with you though, reflecting back full circle, some of those scenarios I kind of understand now. And it's more understanding your friend. Yeah. Just like you said, sometimes you need time so that you don't come off and say the wrong thing.
You feel like you understand that ghosting piece now?
I mean, yeah, of why you did it before.
Okay.
Why you did it before.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be a lot. With all of us living with each other.
Yes.
And,
yes.
So many different aspects to it. We're supposed to study together, party together, live together, you doing all those things with the same people, like that's family at that point.
Yeah.
And like sometimes I don't feel like talking to my mom, sometimes I feel like talking to my sister.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't want to talk to y'all. Maybe I'll go a couple of days without talking to y'all. It's a high and by situation. But then we're gonna get back like to our regular scheduled program. And just like you said, the problem with that is because we didn't know how it was gonna look, and when you wanted to finally say hey while we watching TV, you know, we didn't know what that was gonna look like.
And you know my struggle when it was involving like multiple like girls or individuals in the group, my problem would be this, and this is me as a guy giving this perspective.
You better get some pimp stuff.
Not pimp.
Child's play. I have to. When it's starting to get a little deep, somebody has to be a little playful. But go ahead with your deep thought.
My point is, and women, please do not knock me down for saying this. When I would have an issue or problem, and maybe it was pertaining to one of them or maybe two of them, whatever, and let's say it was contained to two of our friends, right? And Jada's not really involved or in the mixture of it. Those two friends or women, right? They would have conversations and discussions about those things or whatever. And let's say maybe Jada was pulled into it just a little bit, right? If one of them calls me and say, "Hey, what's going on? What's wrong?" Please stop. Y'all already had a conversation about it. Y'all already talked about it. Women talk. Okay, in their smaller circles outside of the friend group and their smaller group chats and conversations and things like that. So that also is another piece. It's annoying because I'm just like, I know y'all already have a conversation about it. That's fine. Like y'all can talk about it, but don't play like you don't know.
Oh man, is that the same for men?
I don't know.
You have men friends.
I don't. But I don't think that men talk as much.
They don't
as women do, and having conversations.
So when y'all have like issues with each other, what do?
We have a conversation and we talk about it. It may not be an immediate conversation because we have to internalize and process whatever it is that we are feeling and that we have to come out and say, but we eventually have a conversation. But I'm not gonna call my home.
So what is the conversation? You good or are we good? Yeah, what type of like you guys actually converse?
I mean it depends.
I'm sorry. Oh my god, the standards that I have for some men are just so low. I'm so sorry.
Nah, but like that's real. It depends on the person, the individual, and what type of friendship you have with that person. If you got a deep friendship with that person, then that's that. And what was the incident? What was the problem that was about it? It may just be you good? Yeah, I'm good. You good? Okay, we good.
That's what I'm saying. I've seen that a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what got resolved?
But that's that man or individual knowing what the issue or problem was, and the other guy knowing that as well, and then that's the
okay
transaction between that of saying you good. I know what you asking me, am I good about?
Got you.
Because we both not good off the same thing.
Cool.
Do we need to talk about it more, like or deeper? Like I'm talking about the other guy. Like, do we need to talk about it deeper? Right. And that's fine. I'm cool with that. It depends on the person that you're having that issue or problem or an encounter with. But I think that also added to the ghosting piece or phase. I'm like, you calling me about this that you already know about. Y'all already had a conversation. Why do you want me to repeat myself again?
Right.
So that is annoying.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like women get used to that already anyway.
What?
Like. Because when you say girl don't tell nobody, you know that if the best friend is involved, she gonna tell her.
Right.
But I feel like we're so used to that, and now that like somebody comes in and has a problem with it, it's like, oh, he got a problem with it. Oh. So that's really probably what was going on back then too. So annoying. Because like you were
I know they talk.
You were more observant than the typical man that probably people would deal with or our friends would deal with.
Yeah.
You were very observant and aware. We already go over this, how in tune we are with ourselves.
Yeah.
And they didn't know. Maybe I didn't even know either that you were that freaking aware
about y'all having conversations.
Just observant in general of everything. You know, because men usually aren't.
But we're talking specifically about y'all having conversations?
I mean, that's one aspect to it.
Have you met me?
Are you listening to what I'm saying, though? Are you listening to what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. You are different from the typical man.
Yeah.
So it's that getting accustomed to that as well.
Yeah. But I feel like men know that. Like I feel like they know that the women are having conversations and talking about those things.
but I'm not going to say it bothers you more, but when they figure things out like that, I feel like it's just still in a different manner, because like they're not
as deep.
They're not gonna overthink it.
It's not as deep.
They're not gonna overanalyze any of that.
Yeah.
Even if they know or they don't know. That means they're just one thought deeper than the typical man.
Yeah.
And you're like 10 steps ahead of the typical man when it comes to stuff like this.
Yeah.
Communicating and all of that in general.
Yeah.
So I think that definitely plays a part, and that's why I wanted to ask you, when it comes to male friend groups, is it the same type of energy?
Yeah. It just depends on what it is and who the individual is.
You gave a good answer.
Yeah. And I have another example too. And this is not deep, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm like throwing a shot or whatever. I was stuck in LA, right? Remember the whole Microsoft outage thing, whatever. Yeah. I wasn't able to get back home. I was out there with my friend, and we ended up getting a hotel for 2 days there in LA. And nobody had heard from me, right? Like nobody like knew. And I think I talked to my friend that I usually like communicate and talk to a lot, Jasmine. She was already like there. And so I'm like, oh yeah, I've had a conversation with, a person. So people know, but just not even realizing that I haven't told like my other friends. And then I end up having a conversation with our close friend. And my other friend sends me flights to go home. And I'm like, okay. They talked. They had a conversation and talked about it, me being stuck in LA, whatever. And it's not a big deal, but I'm like, it was talked about. It was a conversation that, went into that. And I'm like, it's just so funny. Like, now I get it. I understand.
Yeah. I mean, because we keep on saying friends. This is a family now.
Yeah.
So if you tell me that you're in danger and help, I'm going to tell everybody that I know that cares for you. How are we going to figure out how to get you out of it? If I can't do it on my own, I'm going to call everybody to help you get out of the sewage hole.
And you know what?
Because, oh my God, I'm in the sewage hole. I can't pull you up by myself. I'm going to make sure everybody knows, and we're going to try to figure out how to get you out the sewage hole.
Yeah. And you know what? That may play a part, and I feel like I'm just having this realization as I'm sitting on this couch. That may have a part of why I internalize and deal with some of the things first before I bring it to y'all.
Mm-hmm. You do that.
I absolutely 100%. Is it going to be talked about while I'm experiencing and going and dealing with these things? I don't know if I want to have 5 different conversations about what I'm going through and experiencing right now. Maybe I want to internalize it, deal with that, my emotions, my feelings, and that's what I said on the other episode is, hey, here's my solution. This is what I've done. Now I don't care if it's talked about because I'm not experiencing. That's not what I'm going through right now. It's already been dealt with. So I think that is a part of why I internalize certain things before just bringing it out to some of you all. Or I either have to put out a disclaimer, hey, haven't told anyone this, I'm going to share this with you.
That would be something that you can definitely practice a little bit more.
Why do I have to do that?
It depends on the topic.
It does.
I already told you what it was, and it's coming from a sense of compassion when people tell some things. Sometimes it doesn't. It's not always gossipy the way you probably think it is.
Yeah,
it's just different perspectives.
Yeah. Here we go. Here's another realization. I think too, that's from childhood of having it together. Having it all together and presenting yourself in the best light.
I struggle with that as well.
If you don't know, you better figure it out. So the fact that someone even thinks that Trey just does not have it figured, that does not sit well with me. That's something I'm working on. And exactly. I've said that, I don't have it all together, and it's okay not to have it all together, but I'm still a work in progress.
It's okay to get help.
Yeah.
It's okay to get help.
Yeah.
That's definitely something that you definitely should take into consideration when it comes to certain things.
Yeah, for sure.
It's definitely something that you can put into your, your little tool bag.
Yeah, this is true. My inventory.
Yeah, it's okay.
I don't mind sharing these things and talking about some of these items, because I'd be like, "Are you this self-aware? Are you this on your stuff?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's my defense mechanism. Yeah. Are you deep diving this deep into yourself?
Yeah, you kind of turn back into little Trey, like, oh my God, I don't have everything together. What's going to happen to me now that I don't?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's probably very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, ghosting just took off and ran. Do you see how we just
I wanted to debunk that. That's why I was laughing, because I'm like, oh yeah, we're definitely going to get to some realization, and we're going to get to an end goal, and we definitely did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to talk about it so badly, because I know that you were in such a good space, and I already told you how much I'm proud of you kind of really using those things that we're talking about. You're putting it into action, and I love seeing it.
Yeah, and it took me to...
Even with that last scenario, I'm not going to talk about it, but that last scenario that you told me about like a couple of weeks ago, and like the way you assessed it, I was thinking to myself, I didn't want to tell you in the moment because you don't like getting sappy and stuff sometimes, but I was like, yeah, he is definitely grown as a person, and like I really... It made me sad again.
What scenario?
It made me sad again because, like, I know a lot of people that are still kind of stuck in their ways and they don't even want to figure that out.
Because I don't even know what it is that you're talking about.
Okay.
So I gotta figure out what this is before she even... She said she's not gonna talk about it, but the so
that was just a perfect example of you actually using some of those things in your inventory, and really assessing it and asking people, and it was just a really great thing to see. Just a great communication example.
I mean, shoot, we can talk about it. I don't know,
we don't have to, but like, it was good.
Basically.
Oh, you're still gonna talk about
it? I mean, it's not that...
it's nothing not to talk about. Right. I just didn't, because it's not my business. That's why I didn't want to bring it up.
I mean, you can still say it in a way of where it's not...
my business. You have the reins to talk about
it. Basically, it was a friend that, was going through some things and experiencing, some items, and it just wasn't shared, with me. And I'm just like, yo... I'm here. Like, I'm here for you, and I've worked really hard to hear my friends out and talk to them and communicate with them and just be there for them. And even just like some of the items and things that we discussed and talked about, like, just really worked on myself to make sure I am showing up for my friends in like the fullest capacity, and how I would want somebody else to show up for me. And so when someone shared that they didn't want me to know a certain thing, I'm like, yo, why? I'm not here to judge you. I don't have my stuff together. I don't have this all figured out either. So I'm here for you. I support you. Don't think that there's any judgment or anything coming from me. And I think that's from, like, again, childhood of like having it all together. I think people see me like, social media or whatever, and it's like, yo, this guy's got all this stuff together. And it's like, no, that's not the case. I don't have it all together sometimes. I am still trying to figure things out. And so I don't want you to look at me and feel like you can't come to me and tell me certain things about what's going on with you because you think that Trey has it all together. That is not the case. And this has been a work in progress. But that does stem from childhood and having a plan and what are you going to do and what's your next step. And it's okay to backtrack too. Like, that's fine. I'm here to support you wherever you're at in your life.
Yeah. It's just a great example. Full circle moment.
Yeah. And I was even like emotional with that. And I shared it with her, and I'm like, yo, is there something that I'm doing like about myself that, this person doesn't feel as though they can come to me and express these things and share this with me? What do I need to work on as an individual in person? Because I have heard so much from them in terms of how I am as a friend and the ghosting and all those things. And I really tried hard to hone in on those things. So when I heard that, I was like, oh man, that kind of hurts. Like, I don't know why someone doesn't feel like they can't come to me and express things with me. I'm probably the most open friend that there is. I'm very solution based, so that's a thing. Maybe they don't want a solution, maybe they just want to talk about it, and I understand that too. I'm also there for that as well. So it was definitely good, a growth piece for me.
I love this episode.
Oh my God, please don't do not do that.
A lot of talking about Lil Trey, man.
Yeah.
Lil Trey is finally getting some love, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it takes you to like self-reflect and figure out those things, and to get to this point of growth. Like, and I'm deep in it.
Yeah. For
sure. Leave no stone unturned. And that's one of the things I said I was going to work on for just 2024 in general, just becoming a better me, better individual. I think where I'm at right now in life, it has stretched me in ways that I just could not imagine. I mean, like personal growth, spiritual growth, just learning things, being responsible for other people and brands and deadlines and things like that. I am being stretched. It's like I'm being built up, but torn down at the same time. If I can put it to any certain way, that's how I would explain it. Yeah. You just look like so at peace over there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to hear those
I'm
stories.
just gurgitating and just
singing
it all.
I just like hearing people's growth stories. It's just very, very positive. I love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was an interesting episode. I kind of want to just kind of take it back to the beginning and just go through those main three topics or terminologies that we went about.
Yeah.
What did we start with? Not narcissism. What was the first one? Gaslighting.
Mm-hmm.
Basically bringing the manipulation back to you and you feeling like you're doing something wrong when you really aren't.
Definitely done that.
We talked about gaslighting. Talked about narcissism.
Mm-hmm.
How one can get there.
Yeah. Right. And what are some of the things or items that you can do not to get there? I think that is good too.
Yeah. Good to highlight.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're compassionate of others. That's one way that you can kind of negate some of those narcissistic values. Before we end, narcissism with relationships, like intimate relationships, we didn't really touch bases on that. Like, what does that look like? What do you think that looks like?
A narcissist for what? For like, are you talking about
like when the girl says, "Oh my God, yeah, I just broke up with him. He was such a narcissist." Like. And like, what qualities would that come up in a intimate relationship? Like somebody who's just over combative, like they want to just take over the whole relationship. Like, what do you think people relate to that when it comes to intimate relationships?
Well, I think you read some of the items or characteristics that was. In that,
thinking that you're better than everybody.
Thinking that you're better than, so you probably can't tell them anything. It's probably sitting on top of the world, and you can't come down. I think that's probably one of the items. What was some of the other pieces too? Thinking you're inferior to everybody else.
Yeah, inferior to everybody else.
Yeah, so I think that's back to sitting on top. So I really don't think you're probably not approachable. And
lacking empathy. Okay, that's where it is.
Yeah.
So your partner's probably going through things and stuff, and you probably kind of brushing things off a little bit.
And you can't really communicate or have a conversation.
That's the point. But okay. Well, yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I could see that in a relationship form.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then we went into ghosting, and full circle with that.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Was that a circle, or was that like a path that was like zigzag, up and down, back and forth, side to side?
Yeah, it was a triathlon if we really want to keep it P.
Olympics.
It was a triathlon. But you're here, baby. You're here.
All
and
different
you're
types of
taking
things.
off.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to have such great relationships. I just know it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, those are the main three ones that I wanted to talk about and get your insight on.
Yeah, I think that was great.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful episode. Hopefully you guys are still here with us. If you've logged off, I'm so sorry.
Why are you gonna say that they have logged off?
If they have, maybe they realize some qualities about themselves and they're like, damn.
There's definitely podcasts that are within this realm that I do take, like, I click off.
A beat. You take a minute. And that's why I say that in the beginning.
Yeah.
We're doing, Jada, where we are from where we were at in 2018, 2019, we're a lot deeper than where we were, and we reflect a lot, and I think that causes people to reflect. And so, like, I'm not just saying pause and reflect if you need to. That's not for my health. That's for the conversations.
Yeah.
Because after these cameras go off, you already know how I am. I'm like, oof.
Yeah.
Because it's so much. Yeah. We talk about so much. And I kept, you know what? This is another thing too. I kept saying, I think I need to go back to therapy. It's just certain things I always want to work on improving and, getting better with myself.
You can always become better version of yourself.
But I don't know. And I think I was when we started TNJ. I don't know if I think it was podcast. I think I was in therapy then. But after like therapy was like done for me, I don't think I really needed it because I think we had so many conversations and we were like recording episodes or whatever. So it's like therapy. So sometimes you do need to pause and reflect and just take a step away from the items and things that we're talking about. It gets deep.
It do.
Yeah.
It do be deep though.
It does. It is.
But yeah, I think this is a great episode. I still haven't gotten you to cry yet.
Oh, you were about to cry. I saw your eyes.
You saw my eyes?
They looked a little watery. Maybe it was the light, the way that it was.
I was not about to cry.
You were like, yeah.
Okay.
You're not?
Didn't get him to cry yet, y'all.
You're not going to cry.
Richmond Oprah hasn't fully came out. It could have came out for that one, but if we would have started, if I would have had my order a little better, then I probably could have got some more stuff. But it's fine. It's okay. We're going to get deep. I can't wait to have more conversations with you. This has been episode what?
7.
Episode 7 of T and J's Child's Play.
Are we on 7, Kalia? Okay,
yeah. 7. T and J's Child's Play, episode 7. Like, share, subscribe, do all the things.
If you're on Apple Podcasts, Apple Podcasts,
rate on Spotify. All the podcast DSPs. And yeah, it's been a great conversation.
Yes, we will see you all next week.
All right, see you. Thank you. Bye-bye.